Zelensky. No reports of artillery shortages for first time in full-scale war.
Here's a summary of the article.
For the first time since the launch of Russia's full-scale invasion, no Ukrainian brigades have reported a lack of artillery shells, President Volodymyr Zelensky told reporters on May 16. Over the winter months, Ukraine's armed forces suffered a critical shortage of artillery shells, in large part due to delays in U.S. military aid. In January, Defense Minister Rustem Umerov said Ukraine was unable to fire more than 2,000 shells per day, around a third of Russia's average daily shell usage. A Czech-led initiative to buy artillery shells for Ukraine identified 500,000 155 mm shells and 300,000 122 mm shells outside Europe that could be bought and sent to Ukraine after the necessary funds were allocated to the initiative. Speaking on May 16, Zelensky said even before the initiative began, progress had been made on procuring artillery shells. For the first time during the war, none of the brigades complained that there were no artillery shells, he added. At the same time, Russia has already increased its military production capacity and is likely already able to produce 1 million shells a year, said Martin Herem, the commander of the Estonian Defence Forces, in January.
This post received a score of 5800, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
NATO needs to continue ramping up production of artillery munitions. Being able to supply just enough to avoid shortages is great, but it'd be nice for Ukraine to be in a constant surplus.
If there's one thing this war proved, it's that artillery has been getting increasingly overlooked in favor of aircraft by NATO nations. Sure, we have an amazing capability to take out air defenses, but it shows how if there is any form of air denial in a region, artillery remains the most deadly weapon on the battlefield.
It's just a very costly way to conduct war. It's just a meat grinder that chews up human lives. It's hard to fault NATO for preferring a big knockout punch over a human meat grinder.
Yeah, but a lot of that was driven by the idea artillery couldn't destroy a tank effectively. It doesn't make the knockout punch strategy wrong, just that it's a necessary backup.
I think it has less to do with artillery and more to do with anti-tank measures like drones and javelins. Artillery has been around forever, and it didn't stop tanks in WW2. The difference is javelins and drones have made tanks more vulnerable, and therefore slowed combat down.
I agree those are important, but artillery was definitely not the same in WW2 as it is now. Precision guidance rounds are used regularly with drones to take out tanks. Also, you use artillery in the same way a squad uses a machine gun on the offensive. You suppress the enemy, lay a smoke screen, and push. Drones are great for defensive but not the best for offensive. It's been observed that any time one side gets an artillery advantage, it becomes easier for them to take ground, or just generally gain the momentum.
Artillery targeting is also much quicker than it was in the past.
Let's keep it that way.
Greater than over the winter months, Ukraine's armed forces suffered a critical shortage of artillery shells, in large part due to delays in U.S. military aid. Republican delays.
It's gonna be worse if Trump wins. I wish Senate Democrats put up the House bill requiring presidents to deliver aid appropriated by Congress.
Trump will most likely try to fire the entire Pentagon and then tell the U.S. military that he has sold the USA to Putin. A president has to be able to sell the entire country, right? Trump, and all maggots will agree.
SCOTUS agrees that your argument has some merit.
Who could have predicted that 6/3 split?
John Roberts is also baffled why people don't trust SCOTUS anymore.
Drown them in lead.
Great. That sounds appropriate to deal with an excess of invaders.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.